Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the Constant Ghost over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we're here to talk about Dark Age this week. Good old Pierce Brown. We are on book five of the Red Rising series. Gavin, I know you haven't been able to get too far into it yet, but initial thoughts.
It's definitely a dark age.
You don't even know.
Um, I will say that the amount of people that die in this book that the deaths are like, what? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
there's even more. You're just like, what the fuck? Everyone's just dead.
Yeah, so many people die and it's characters especially in the beginning, some characters die that I'm like, what was the point of that character?
Yes. There's one at like the top of my mind that we can talk about in a minute. But before we get too far into the book, as always, guys, hit us up on our Discord, find that pin to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge, email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. We have merch. Neither of us are repping it, but we got it. It's great. Everyone wants it. St. Patty's Day is coming up, and you cannot celebrate the 10th best holiday in the US without it.
It's number three for me.
Number three, the
Yes.
St.
Four. It's
Patty's
number four.
Day
Number
Trump
four.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
I agree.
I think it does. It's more communal.
Yes, very communal.
Uh-huh. Especially if you go like bar hopping or something.
Yeah, I share everyone's beer.
I think first two for me, as it is for everybody, you got Christmas and Halloween. And then my number three is probably 4th of July.
Yeah, I actually have 4th of July one.
And then
Fireworks.
fireworks are great. And then I think it's St. Patty's Day. Thanksgiving is number five.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving personally.
Mhm.
I honestly don't like traditional Thanksgiving food.
Most of it, yeah. Well, I mean, it's so hit or miss, and a lot of it is just like a blob of random food. Like it's like casserole. I mean, that's basically what
Yeah.
casserole is. Like, let's just blob food together and put it in
And
a
like, don't get
pan.
me wrong, I enjoy vegetables, but everything's just like a potato of some kind. I'm just like, I don't want more carbs. I
All
don't
the
really like
carbs.
turkey that much. Like
Who's
turkey's fine, but it's not like it's like dripping in sauce, right? It's like some random ass like gravy. I'm like, cool.
I smoked a turkey this last year, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I like turkey
But
sometimes.
I'd rather have smoked a chicken
Yeah, chicken's juicier,
and
more
or
delicious.
yeah, or a brisket. I'm thinking about just maybe this Thanksgiving we just do a brisket. I'm like, get over it.
Nice. Yeah, it'd be good. But anyway,
Those are our holiday
you need
rankings.
merch.
Tune in for more. And that is Dark Age.
And Gavin, what are you drinking, good sir?
Mm. I always make these drinks. I just never remember the names of them. But basically, this is a banana uh cocktail. There's no banana
Oh,
in it. It's but banana
that doesn't
liqueur.
say that doesn't make sense. There's no but banana in the banana.
Yeah, banana liqueur. Cream the
Where do you get
banana.
like what do you like
How do you
make with
cream?
banana liqueur?
How do you
You
cream a
know?
banana?
Well, I can show you real quick.
That's what I really want to know. Here's here's the thing, right? It's clear. And I'm just thinking about bananas and maybe they get it out of maybe they compress the peel. That's the word I'm looking for.
I just imagine there's like one dude. He's just
Cream in
peeling
his
bananas and
banana.
just squeezing them, squeezing bananas,
Well, what's your job?
one at a time.
I'm a
I'm a
banana
banana
creamer.
creamer. Oh yeah, that sounds like
Ugh,
some hard work. No, it's
delicious.
actually pretty soft.
It's soft when it starts. It gets
It's
harder
not,
as
it's
the day
real
goes on.
mushy.
Jesus Christ. Uh, what are you
So Dark
drinking?
Age.
What are you
Oh yeah,
drinking,
I am
Dylan?
drinking stuff. I got two concoctions over here. One is just an old fashioned,
Good.
and then the other one is a conglomerate that I randomly came up with. It is some Hop Factory, some sweet vermouth, some grenadine, and Aperol.
How is it? I have all those ingredients, and I was actually making a cocktail with Hop Factory last week.
It's actually pretty good. Oh, I put a little lemon juice in here too. It like needs like just a little something else.
Hop Factory's tough to mix with because it's just got
It's
that
it's so
bitter,
unique. It has to have like
lots of citrus.
yeah, citrus is exactly what it needs.
Hmm.
Like everything that I've ever had like citrusy with it is just fucking bomb.
I went to this is like a super popcorn thing, but it has to relate to alcohol. I was flying out of Minneapolis yesterday to Indianapolis, and the guy I was traveling with, he was like he had the Delta Lounge pass.
Ooh.
So I got to go to the Delta Lounge with him. And it, it was I don't understand it personally. I don't think I figured it out because it's like just an airport.
Yeah.
And technically they do have free food, but the drinks you have to pay for.
It is.
So it's like I would just sit at a bar and it's the
Yeah, for
same
real.
it's the same
The
thing.
same experience.
But of course, like we're like, we don't need food, just give us alcohol. But it was pretty nice, and but the drinks there, I will say, incredible. Although the first drink I ordered, I ordered two cocktails. The bartender was like, "That has premium liquor, so it has a premium price. Are you aware?" I was like, "What the fuck do I look like? What the fuck was
Do you
that?
do you think I'm a poor?
Do you think I'm poor? You believe me, a peasant?"
I am very, very rich. I have podcast.
But go ahead and replace it with the well. Just because
Just in case. How premium? You like, is it like $8 or is it like $3?
it was a $10 drink, which is a crazy amount for a drink, in my opinion. Like 10, but I guess it's not that
That
crazy
that's
actually.
average.
Standard. Yeah,
That's
it was
actually
pretty
probably
standard.
lower than average, honestly. Like
Yeah.
if I
All
go
right.
to
Sir, are you aware? Are you aware of the astronomical
this
prices?
is premium
Look,
liquor. All right, it's Jack Daniels.
we don't do financing here, sir. You know that, right? No checks.
Do you understand who Mr. Daniels is? Very, very influential man.
I I can't imagine. The other thing you could do is you could pay for the drinks with points, like flight miles.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's got to be a scam, right?
Has to be.
That's gonna be a huge scam. Like 700 miles. I'm like, isn't that like two flights?
It depends where you're going.
I guess. And I don't know how miles actually works, right? Like maybe you get deals like double the miles or whatever.
You fly on Wednesdays and which fucking quadruple?
Just like I feel like that's got to be although that's probably what I would spend them on. I have exactly 700 miles. Yes, I will take this one free drink and throw away the potential to
Look, I'm not
fly.
flying again for like 2 years. I'm getting that drink.
Pour it heavy. I'm making a double.
How premium. Keep going.
So that was my alcohol drink or my alcohol story and a drink.
No. Nice, nice.
They were good though. They were pretty good. So, let's talk about Dark Age. And I've only made it through the first part. So I know you said there's a lot of people that die. That's kind of random. So I kind of want to lead the character deaths since you've
That's a good
read the
idea.
story, just in case you're like, this person dies. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's dark.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised.
Honestly.
There was one scene where like something was happening with Darrow, and like at near the end of the part one, I was like, this might happen. Like
That
this might
he's
happen.
constant like the whole time like there's no way he survives.
He's gonna die right here. Um, so the premise of the story is Darrow at the end of the last book, he's now going to make his way to Mercury because he realized the whole thing was a trap, and it's not the Ash Lord that's in charge or the Ass Lord. Neither of them are in charge. Um, it's actually uh, Anto
Atalantia.
Atlantia with her anaconda.
Yes. She does carry an anaconda around her neck.
She does. Yeah, the Ass Lord and the girl with the massive anaconda. And she has like basically taken all of the Astor's legions and is gonna like reconquer Mercury. While at the same time, like where we left off at Lysander's story, he's trying to go into Mercury to parlay with Atlantia in order to bring an alliance between the inner planets and the rim. And he's brought along two children of Ra. Um, one that he's like weirdly in love with, Seraphina,
Yep.
and the other one is like the
Diomedes.
Diomedes, the Storm Lord of the Storm Knight from the Outer
Yeah.
Rim. And like the great part, I think what Pierce Brown is doing incredibly well with these books so far is like the story opens and it's not like, and so Darrow travels to Mercury. It's like Darrow's at Mercury. Shit's happening right now.
Yeah.
Same thing with Lysander. Lysander's there. He arrived. We're not doing this stuff. Like we're going.
Yep.
And
Yeah, like you might get like a more he's like, yeah, on the ship we talked. And it's like, all right, cool. What else happened?
the other thing that I think is that's different in this book compared to the previous Iron Gold is in Iron Gold you kind of had all these POVs from all these different characters all the time, and they were in
Yeah.
all kinds of different places. This is broken up into, well, let's just do Mercury and let's only do Lysander and Darrow.
Hmm.
And then it's like, okay, well then let's go to Luna and we'll do Virginia and Ephraim. And then we'll go back to Lysander and Darrow for the next piece, and it just kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely, I don't know how I feel about it, but I think I definitely like Iron Gold a little bit better. I like being jumped around to all the different stories. It feels more Game of Thrones-esque instead of you're in it.
I'll be surprised if you keep that answer at the end of the book. This
Okay.
book is really fucking good. Like I think it like starts a little slow, but like not really, right? Like you're in a fucking crazy ass war, but like war is also war, if
Yeah.
that makes
So
sense.
I totally get it because it's like war can be shocking due to its brutality and chaos, and that's exactly what happens. So he writes
Yes.
the war incredibly well. But the other parts, like the parts that war isn't as good at, is kind of the intrigue and the mystery and discovery of things. Because
Yeah.
because a lot of times when war tries to do that, you get away from the brutality and the shock and chaos of war.
Yeah. I think that's why I really like Virginia and Ephraim's stories in this book a lot too, because it kind of like it takes you away from this war aspect and gives you like an actual kind of story. Not like a war isn't a story, but like something about war. Like it's like kind of cool to read about, but at the same time, like, well, whatever. It's just a battle. It'll be fine at the end of the day.
I was really nervous jumping into this first part when I started to realize, oh, this whole like the first like 200 pages is just going to be like a giant battle. Is basically what it is.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, oh fuck, like this is going to be really rough. And went back when like we were reading the Warhammer series, I
Yeah,
distinctly
it's like
remember,
so different.
it's so different. I distinctly remember us having a conversation about this where it's like, okay, the only way battles are interesting is if something in the battle is interesting.
Yeah.
And so, do you remember the Titan book where they're doing
Titan
battles in
Death.
Titans? I think it's Titan Death. It's the one. We're near the end of the series, prior to the siege.
Titan Death, yeah.
And I distinctly remember like the scenes where the Titans are like walking on the ocean floor.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, that is so much better than like Titan battles. And I distinctly remember like the Ursa Claw launch and like trying to like rip apart Titans. That's interesting. But the Titan battles themselves,
Sucked ass.
so boring. So like there's a trick to writing if you know that you're going to do this from a reader perspective, you have to write some like weird, interesting thing. I mean, literally, this goes back all the way to the man to the fucking OG Tolkien, right? Like he knew when he did The Hobbit, battles suck. So Bilbo just got knocked out.
Yeah. And everything just got stabbed in the eye.
And Peter Jackson years later was like, "Oh, well, like we're doing a movie. So I got
War.
it. No problem. We can do war super easy and it's great. Like all the battles are great." And then when Tolkien did the Battle of Plainor Fields, he was like, "Okay, well, let's make this about the charge of the Rohirrim. Let's make this about certain moments in the battle that are like pivotal changes." That was way more interesting than like 90% of the battles that we got in Warhammer. Pierce Brown does a good job at combining both of those concepts. Where it's like it's pivotal things, and the pivotal things are fucking crazy.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait. There's a later part in the book that I thought was so fucking funny. And I can't wait for you to get to. It's like part of the whole like Mercury stuff. And like I actually really enjoy how Pierce does war. And I was listening to an interview he did with Maud's book club. She apparently after every book she had him on. So I listened to him and he was talking about like when he does like war things, he's like war is just like fucking brutal and I don't like having like everyone with plot armor or whatever. It's like, like shit happens fast. So
Hmm.
like he'll just have people get shot in the fucking head and you're like, well fuck, all right, damn.
Happens. It happens.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I will say like some negative feedback I have when and with regards to the Mercury battles is it does seem like a lot is going on. So when we say war is chaos, that is true, but it's a tricky thing as a writer because if you make it too chaotic, I'm like, okay, like where the fuck is this army? What do you mean you have two
Yeah.
armies? What's happening here? Like that happens. A really good like comparison to this is the Battle of Calth. And it
Yeah,
took
that's
me a
fair.
long time when reading oh shit, what
No,
was
no
it? No,
fear.
No Fear. Yeah, that I was like I reread the first half of that book. After I got through
Yeah,
half of it,
I
I was
had
like, I gotta go back.
problems too.
Yeah. And I feel like this book is like the first book in this series that I'm like, I could use a reread to really
Yeah, that's
understand what's
fair.
going on in the battles. But that's tough. I mean, it's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
So, oh, it opens up and basically the whole prelogue, prelude or prelogue, whatever. Is it prelude?
I think it's Prelude. I think you're right the first time.
Um, it's Darrow trying to rescue Orion, who is his blue pilot that he like rescued or worked with in the third book. Um,
Yep.
so they like get onto this ship and fucking Toothless dies.
Just what the fuck was the whole story of Toothless? He's really there and he's like, fuck him.
Yeah, like there was like these moments in the fourth book where you like they get Toothless and Darrow's like, I don't know if I trust this guy. And I remember talking to you. You hit it well. I remember talking to you about last book. I was like, I'm really interested in this Toothless character, and you could have, and you actually said,
Tongueless.
or Tongueless, yeah, Tongueless. You actually said, you said, yeah. In the second book, there's definitely moments where I'm like, yeah, who is this guy? No, he just fucking dies like page
Who is
four.
he?
You know, who is he?
I don't know who he is.
And
He's just fucking dead.
he gets killed by Ajax. And I remember like, and I love that Pierce did that because he set the tone very
Hmm.
quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he did. And he's like,
they
okay. Everyone who gets introduced, you're probably fucking dead.
You've got so Darrow, Thraxa, um, Rona, Alexander, and Calloway are the only people left.
Yeah.
And of course, Tongueless is the sixth. So they're going to like free Orion, and they run into the Love Knight and the Death Knight and the Storm Knight, who is Ajax, who is
He's a bad motherfucker.
yeah, he's what's her face's son? Aja.
Yes, Ajax. I was like, fuck, what's her name? Yeah, he is
Yeah.
Ajax's son.
So Ajax is apparently just a fucking beast. He's the one that kills Tongueless.
Yep.
They kill the Death Knight and they do free Orion. They get out of there. Love Knight's still alive though. Who is a character I really enjoy in this book, by the way.
Hmm.
I like that. I kind of wish, like, one thing I wish that Pierce would have done more, but I get why, because it's a lot of characters. I'd love to like see all of these knights, the Olympic
Yeah,
knights, and like figure out who they are. Because like sometimes like, yeah, we killed the Death Knight, and I'm like, the Death Knight sounds like a badass physician.
it does.
Like, who the fuck is
Like
the Death
Cassius
Knight?
is the fucking morning knight. Okay, cool, whatever. The Death Knight sounds cool as shit. Like, how do you become the Death Knight? Because
Yeah,
the Fear Knight is fucking nuts.
absolutely insane. And like, if they would have done the same treatment with all the knights that they did the Fear Knight, it would have been like crazy. And like, there's
Yeah.
all these like moments where like when they kill the Sovereign, like there's two Olympic knights there, you don't fucking know them, and they just die.
No, they just got slaughtered.
Yeah, and I'm like, I kind of wish that there was like some sort of discussion some point earlier on in the series about like what each knight represents and what they're supposed to do. And I'd love to see like them at the galas and like describe their personalities. That way, when it just off mentions that, yeah, they killed the there's all and I don't even know all of them. Like I don't know, there's like so many different positions and some of them do stuff sometimes, some of them don't at all. Like the Death Knight literally did nothing. He had played no role in the story, and I don't know what the Death Knight's supposed to have done.
Yeah, and that was the second Death Knight, because I think the first Death Knight died in Morningstar.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was the one in the room.
and this is like one of those things where you get two books down the line, another Death Knight's gonna die, and you're like, who the fuck? Like this dude's just redshirting the
I
Death
don't want
Knight.
to be the Death Knight. Anything but the Death Knight, please, for the love
I
of God.
refuse. And like the knights that are definitely the Fear Knight is I love how they did the Fear Knight. I kind of wish that's another thing. I wish that they actually would have done more with the Fear Knight.
You
We'll get to
get
that.
a lot more of him.
Okay, okay, good deal, good deal. So they save Orion, and Orion got fucking tortured as hell by the Fear Knight. She's all fucked up.
Yeah, she's fucked.
And basically, when Lysander goes to see Atlantia, you just get this like very face forward feeling that like the inner planets like Mercury and Venus, they're all fucking assholes. Like they are probably like the
Yeah,
worst of the golds.
pretty
And
much.
yeah, like they're super slave kings, like treat each other like shit, like constantly try to kill each other. Like there's no way this like in my mind I'm like they're fucked from the get-go. Like their society's so fucked up.
Yeah, which like blows my mind that like they have like lower colors. Because like, why would you not just be like, I'm gonna work for the fucking Republic? Yeah, I would rather suicide bomb this shit than just be a fucking slave.
Yeah. And you get Diomedes, who is Ra's, he's a Ra. He's Romulus'
Hmm.
son. And now I've only read the first part, but so far I'm like, Diomedes might be one of my favorite characters,
Dude, he's
like
a
that he
fucking
goes.
G. I
Yeah.
love him.
He just is smart, and he first like encounters Ajax, and Ajax is like, I'm the Storm Knight. You're not the Storm Knight. And there's this really cool like this I love this back and forth because Diomedes is like, I find it interesting that you're the Storm Knight. And Ajax is like, why? It's like, well, the Storm Knight is, I loved when he's like, the Storm Knight's supposed to represent calmness and humility. And he's like, no, the Storm Knight represents power because I am the storm. And Diomedes is like, all right. Um,
Okay.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure Diomedes could kill Ajax. Like, Ajax is a
Yeah,
cocky
he is
motherfucker.
very cocky.
And
But I
but
mean, he does a lot of really badass shit. And you're like, all right, I mean, maybe he deserves to be cocky. I don't know.
it's
He is
very
Alva's
much
son.
so. You get this like interesting. It reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones kind of writing, where it's like just because a guy's an asshole doesn't mean he's not powerful.
Yep.
And Ajax makes Diomedes take off his cloak, and Ajax just whips schlong and pisses on it in the middle of their ship.
That's how you make friends. You don't know that? You gotta assert your dominance when you want to become buddies with somebody.
So they go in front of I keep Anastasia,
Adelanto.
Antonia, Atlantia, that's the one. And she's just fucking weird. Uh
She's just like a nympho, like boss mommy. I don't know.
yeah. And you get this interaction where Lysander's trying to broker this like peace agreement, and Atlantia is eventually like fine, like as long as one of you go down to war. She asked Diomedes to, and Diomedes is like, look, I'm here in peace. I'm trying to like establish an alliance. I'm not here to fight your war. But Seraphina, his sister's like, fuck it, I'll do it. I love war. Let's do it. And Lysander has to go as well. And they're going in an iron rain to Mercury. And one of the things that's interesting, the way Lysander's able to pull this off, is he makes an assumption that turns out to be true, where the Minotaur takes over Venus in the previous book, and he told Lana to go fuck herself and basically cut off access. So that guy, Apollonia, is that his name?
Yeah, Apollonius.
Apollonius. Super
Apple.
interested to see more of Apollonius
Yeah, the
because
Minotaur is fucking sick.
he's got his own fucking thing going on, and he's just sitting on Venus like, I really got like 10 golds left over here, and you guys can all go fuck yourselves. Yeah, he's a very interesting character. Very interested to see like where he goes and what he does. Um, so Atlania gets Lysander and Ajax and uh Seraphina, everyone, they're gonna go in an Iron Rain. And then the Love Knight, they're going in an Iron Rain to go and try and take the rest of Mercury. And then you get Darrow's perspective once he lands. This is a little confusing to me, but like what do you remember of like the initial setup of Darrow's ploy?
Fuck. Darrow is talking to like an engineer about something. You assume it's a weapon. You don't know what it is though. Um, that's about all I remember at the beginning.
Yeah, so basically, like the reason Mercury's been able to hold out so long is because it's got all these shields that prevent it from orbital bombardment and them just being able to land people onto the surface. So,
Oh yeah, this is a very interesting thing that Pierce talked about. He talked about how like in a lot of like sci-fi and stuff like they have these like essentially like magic domes, and he's like, I didn't want a dome. I wanted it to where people had to fucking land and then they could go underneath the shields. And that the dome was only for the sky. I was like, that's kind of fucking cool.
mhm. Yeah, I think the other thing too that has always frustrated me about sci-fi, especially like super high level sci-fi, Warhammer is like the worst perpetrator of this. Like, I don't know why they ever needed to put boots on the ground, like ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So this makes a little bit of sense, right? And they, I don't know. I struggle with it. I think the beneficial part here that Pierce is dealing with is like there's only like 10 to 12 inhabitable places in the solar system.
Yeah,
So like when they destroyed Rhea, it was like, fuck, we just lost one.
yeah.
So no one really wants to destroy a planet because even if you were able to take control of the whole solar system, like the whole thing's fucked without like Mercury or Venus or whatever. Like it's all kind of fucked. Like you only have so much. Where in Warhammer, like none of it didn't matter. Just blow
Yeah.
it up.
Every planet's habitable, it's fine.
Yeah. So it's interesting from that aspect, and like they have the capability to destroy a planet like Rhea. I don't think they have the capability to destroy a planet like Mercury. So he basically, Darrow devises this idea to lower a shield, allow people to drop on the planet. And then he's going to use these giant machines that only the Sovereign knew about that would create a catastrophic. They're supposed to be what are they? Terraforming machines.
Yeah.
Catastrophic storms and just kill everybody on the ground that just like lands there. And the Fear Knight takes the bait, but also doesn't take the bait and does a whole bunch of like crazy shit and ends up killing a whole bunch of people and literally like he basically crucifies them.
Yeah, he just fucking impales people
Yeah,
and just makes like lines of people.
I'm really hoping that like the Fear Knight isn't just some evil person. You get a little bit of interaction with Fear Knight in the first part, but I hope that he's just like very reasonable, and like kind of
He
hates
makes
what he ha
sense.
like yeah, like he kind of like hates what he has to do, but he does it because he has to, or at least he believes he does. There's a really cool like comment that he makes to Daro at one point in the first part where he's like, "You asked me like what my biggest fear was." And the answer that he gave was like, "I fear a man who believes he's just."
Yeah.
And so you kind of like the Fear Knight, I feel like in my mind, just from what I cursory understand of him, he's like everyone's a piece of shit and honor's stupid. Like throw that away. Like this isn't like a game. Like everyone treats this like a game. You just have to be realistic. And I think he
Yeah.
thinks Darrow is the same way. It's like you think you're justified because you this, or this. Like you killed this person, this person. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a.
Everyone's justified if in their own head.
hmm And at the end of the day, the real person who's justified is the person that holds the throne. That's it. Like it's
Pretty
the
much.
winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some plans go wrong and more shield gets lowered than what they're looking for. But Darrow's able to get Orion and the rest of these blues hooked up to these giant monolithic machines that create storms.
Yeah. What did they call it? Thunder gods or something?
Yeah, yeah, there's some big thunder gods. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Storm gods, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's Storm God.
So all of these people start landing, all these characters and giant legions. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the part I need to reread a little bit because shit's quite chaotic.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
lot happening.
from what I understand, there's two primary cities. There's Tycho and there's
Pikey.
Helopolis.
Yep.
Tyche and Helopolis. And in between them is this giant desert.
Yeah. What did they call it? Like, it's like the desert of death or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, the whole
Armies die
concept.
in the desert, essentially. Like, if you go in the desert, you're fucked.
Yeah, like from a like it's almost like va invading the Russian winter. Like how many
Yeah.
armies does that claim kind of thing. And the Atlantia is able to land a whole bunch of people. And essentially Ajax and Lysander and Seraphina and the Love Knight all they land and their mission is to go to Helopolis because what's really happening is Atlantia wants to take Helopolis under Darrow's nose, but more importantly, under her allies' nose because they are the Mercurians who are trying to take their planet back. But she wants to like take the city and then give it to them in exchange for their like loyalty
Yeah, she's a little
instead of,
fucky.
yeah, she's like doing some real gold shit. And at the same time, Darrow is trying to defend Pike and then what? Sorry, Taiki.
Nike.
Taiki, and then like if it fails, they retreat through the desert to Helopolis. But they don't know that Ajax and all them have landed to take Helopolis. And then Daro starts these storm engines, and its shit does not work. So
That does not.
turns out like Daro knew Orion was pretty fucked after being tortured by the Fear Knight. So he creates this like kill switch just in case Orion goes AWOL. Orion goes AWOL.
He actually fucking does. Like he was like whole promise with what was his name? Glasties or something.
Yeah, who's like this orange who basically helped him get Mercury because he just wanted to save the people.
Yeah, like he made like a promise that I wouldn't go like past like catastrophic or whatever. And Orion's like, fuck it, burn them all. And he's like, ah, fuck. Fuck, fuck,
Not good.
fuck. Why
Not
did I
good.
do that? Fuck. I knew she was fucked up.
Yeah, a lot of there's just so many scenes too in this war that's insane because like they're also like when this shield goes down, they're just like fucking dropping nuclear bombs all throughout
Yeah.
this entire planet. So like Daro's like sitting there fighting and then like he sees in the distance like just mushroom clouds. Boom, 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 boom. And he's like, "Oh, like a million people just
Fuck.
died."
Fuck.
And then at one point, like he gets hit by a nuclear blast, but he's in this armor and all these people in this armor, but like there's people repairing his armor. And at
You're
one
just literally
point,
like turned like dust.
yeah, at one point his arms get caught in the arm of the dude that's repairing them and they get like chopped off. So his armor gets
Yeah.
sealed and he watches the dude like basically like caught in his armor. And Daryl's like giving a speech to all of his people while staring this dude in the face, and then he just like gets fucking annihilated right in front of him.
Yeah, it's essentially like, look, guys, we're here for a purpose, and unfortunately, you're gonna fucking die.
That's pretty much what he says to everyone on the comms, but he's like looking at this dude.
Yeah, like he's like, I'm just staring at this man's eyes, and he's scared, and I can't do shit.
The other thing about this too is Alexander, he's kind of the reason why the shields all went down, but it's because they had him awake for a whole week tracking the Fear Knight and he fell asleep and lost him.
Yeah,
So I don't really blame the dude. Like, come on.
yeah, dude's fucking tired.
Yeah. So Daro makes his way with his group of people to Taiki. Is that how
Yep,
you say it? Okay.
yep. Thank you.
And that's when he finds out Orion's just gone fucking cracked. And he's like, "Oh, she created a tsunami that destroyed like millions of people in the desert,
Yep,
which was good because he
maybe even
wanted
billions.
those. Yeah, they wanted those people to die. But then Taiki just gets completely destroyed. And there's like people at the higher levels of Taiki, like still alive, but getting slaughtered by Atlantea's people who were like retreating there. And Alexander's like, I'm gonna go and save those people. And within the matter of like two chapters, it's like the craziest shit occurs. First off, Lysander and his whole group are just pelted by this storm that these storm engines are causing. And he's like, "Hey, we got to go destroy the storm engine." And everyone's like, "Storm engines? There aren't any storm engines on Mercury." And he's like,
You guys
yeah.
don't know my grandma.
No, they were put here to
She's a
like kill
bitch.
everybody. Yeah, no, there's definitely storm engines here. Like we were thinking about using them one weekend and just for fun. So he's like, "I'm gonna go take that out, and you guys go head towards Philoppolis." So he brings Seraphina and the Love Knight, and they get to the storm engine, and they hear like this big boom, and Lysander's like, "Oh fuck, like that was scary," and Seraphina's like, "Oh, don't be such a," fucking dies. Seraphina gets ripped in half.
Yeah, by fucking a railgun.
I was like, what the fuck? I remember reading that. I was like, Seraphina was like supposed to be a character that drove story. And Pierce
Nope.
is like,
Pierce don't give a fuck.
no, that works. I don't give a shit about her. You thought I was,
You thought
we
that was one of the
know,
singer's love interest? No.
We know Lysander gave up this entire war because he wanted to fuck. But you didn't know that the person he wanted to fuck was just gonna die. Straight up. Nothing.
Actually.
Like just immediately. Like I absolutely thought like when that happened, like it's not even that I was close to the character. I was just like, wasn't she supposed to be a big part of the story? And it's
Yeah, you would
literally
think.
like imagine I mean we started with like Hunger Games concepts conceptually, right?
Yeah.
Imagine in the Hunger Games, first book, Katniss is Pete, that's his name, Peeta,
Yes, that sounds right.
and he's all like sick. And she's like, "Oh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go get you some food." And then she comes back and some random person just fucking kills Peeta.
Stabbed in the throat.
As a reader of the book, you'd be like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" That's like Pierce is like saying, "Okay, we're like well past that stage of the books now. Like people are just gonna die." And like
Yeah,
tunnels
it's so
divided.
fascinating, like hearing his like QAs and stuff, because he's like, yeah, like I just kind of start writing and like I don't like outline. I just kind of do shit and see if it works. And if it feels good, it feels good. Or
And
not,
like
bro, you just kill everybody, I guess.
we know that there are several chapters that Pierce wrote for his own pleasure that he was keeping from the public.
Oh, dude, there's one. I don't remember if it's in this one, but there's a scene with Thraxa where she's too thick for like a different pair of pants because her thighs are just so big. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Pierce.
Pierce,
She can she can crush some skulls, huh?
you had my interest and now you have my attention. Or the other way around. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
Thraxa's my favorite character.
so she's pretty cool. I like her actually.
Thraxa's the badass, actually.
Yeah.
Them
So
all the Telemanuses, man.
yeah, I could get with Cavix. I mean I could I'm
Hey,
on
man,
board with Cavix.
Daxo?
I
Daxo's a
mean
little weird, but maybe.
maybe. It'd be hard to say no, that's all I'm trying to say.
Just have the last name. That's all I need. I'll marry him.
But they she dies. And then at the same time, Darrow gets on the phone with Orion. He's like, "Hey, what the fuck's happening?" And he's sitting there saying either she lost control or she betrayed me. He gets on the phone with her and she's like all fucked up. And as a reader, I'm like, "Oh, whew, she just lost control. This is nobody's fault." And he's like, "Oh, were you not able to contain it?" She's like, "Oh no, I'm trying to kill everybody." I was like, "Oh no! All right, you could have just lied. She could have just lied. She could have just been like, yeah, I'm trying really hard."
I want everyone to fucking die. You don't know what he did to me.
So Darrow has to activate the Orion kill switch. He kills Orion.
Yep. That's even crazier, right? Like he kills his own like someone that like he talked to like several times throughout the story. Like she is like one of my G's. I love her, one of my best friends. And he's like, well, fuck.
I think it's interesting that Darrow, I personally, I feel like Darrow finds himself more and more in situations where it's not the yes men that surround him that are his closest allies, but the people who oppose him now.
Oh, 100%.
Where he's like, ooh, like maybe just because somebody doesn't agree with me doesn't mean that their loyalty's in question.
Yeah.
A good example of this is the other commander that I can't remember his name,
Oh, fuck.
Heliphantus or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't think of his name either. It's a funky name.
He was the one that sent the ships back when the council told him to from Mercury. And everyone's like, "Oh, this is your fault." And he's like, "Yeah, this guy can't be loyal." But then like the shit goes down, he's like, "Actually, this dude's super loyal. He just doesn't do what I want him to do every time, you know?"
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, he kills Orion, and then Alexander's like, "Hey, I gotta go save these people." And it's basically like this like moment where Darrow's like, Alexander's gonna die, but I'm over. Now, I don't know if Alexander dies, and I hope he lives because he is also an interesting character.
Yeah, he's a cool character.
Um, but he
It's also
has
an
to work.
Arcos.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's like a bit of a love interest between Lauren and Rona, or not Lauren, sorry, Art.
Lauren's a very old man, dude. That's weird. And he's also dead, which makes it weirder.
Getting a little
But I didn't
freaky.
realize we were doing a Sanderson book again.
Hmm. So, hoping there's a love interest there. I like their back and forth. They got the bickering going on. Um, but Rona and Darrow, or Rona, Darrow sends Rona to go find Thraxa and Calloway, and Alexander basically like takes this like mission to death. But in the meantime, too, the other thing that's kind of crazy is they capture this gold, and Darrow's like, "I'm pretty sure I know who this gold is," and it's fucking Screwface, who was a
Yep,
Howler in
good
the
old
first three
screw.
books.
Yep,
And he's like, Screwface. They sent him in as a spy like years ago
yep.
and like augmented his face and shit.
Yeah, he was deep cover.
Yeah, and he was like,
And he's
yeah,
like, Atlantea's fucked. Like, that bitch is crazy, guys. You do not understand.
yeah, and he was like, oh, and they're gonna attack Holopolis, so we should go save them. So he goes out. Dara goes out to try and save them with all they're like they also have like Transformers
Yes.
or like what are they called at Pacific Rim? Like
Yeah, I know what you're
Jaegers or
talking
whatever.
about. Yeah.
That was kind of weird but cool, I guess. So they show up. They're on their way to Holopolis. Darrow's like riding on their backs. And they run into Lysander, who has successfully taken down the storm engine.
Kind of. I mean, Dara actually did all the work.
Oh yeah, well he killed Ryan. Yeah, that's true. But Lysander's like, oh, we're gonna stand and fight and we're gonna do our best and I'll like outsmart him. Didn't work at all.
This is my I fucking laughed at this because it was have you got the Dara's POV of it yet?
Yeah. Well, like yeah,
Oh, where
yeah.
he's like, there was a swift breeze or a swift resistance,
Yeah.
and we
Like oh
wiped
just a
them out.
little scuffle. I ran into some like people in the desert and I was like, oh, I killed him real quick.
Get into my way. And then you have Lysander like, I'm so fucking destroyed.
He gets like the last you see of Lysander in this chapter is like he's like trapped under either his armor or someone else's armor. And
Yeah,
someone
something
else
like
like
that.
falls to the ground, but their like leg engine is still on and it's like hitting him in the face and
Yeah,
it like
like
burns his
smash his
eye off.
face in.
It was fucking crazy. And I don't know if the Love Knight lived because the Love Knight was with him. I don't know if his like Praetorian lived because he has this Praetorian. But basically, like all that Daro said was like, yeah, we ran into some people, like we killed a bunch of them, and the
Some
rest
light
we were like,
resistance.
he was like, yeah, and then like, we didn't like go back and kill them all because we don't have the time. I'm
Yep.
like, I hope that doesn't bite you in the ass later. Like maybe here in like a book and a half, you're gonna be like, man, I really wish I would have stayed an extra 30 seconds to murder the rest of those people.
Yeah, it's just so funny that you have like a main like POV character and then the real main character comes in and just fucking slaughters all of them. And he's like, oh well, that was fucking what the hell was that?
So Lysander definitely had the I am not the main character of this story moment.
Yes, he did. Fuck.
They get to he gets to Holopolis and everyone's like all fucked up because like nuclear radiation has completely
Yeah.
destroyed this planet now and like people's teeth are falling out and hair is falling out and they're like all right let's go invade Holopolis and then everybody fucking dies in like 3 seconds and the only one alive is Darrow because the Fear Knight shows up and he literally tells his people to rape Darrow and make him eat his own dick and then kill him on camera. Like that's what is said. Like that's not a joke. That is literally verbatim
We all
what they
got our
tell him to do.
kinks.
They like start the process, and I'm like, holy fuck! Like, am I about to read this dark? What the
Is
fuck is
Star about
about
to
to
get
happen?
raped and his dick ripped off?
Like Pierce, like I get you're trying to be dark, but maybe not write it down. He gets saved. He gets saved. And it got really intense for a second. Thraxa shows up, fucks a bunch
She's
of
a bad
people up.
bitch.
You know who actually really saves Dara though is Calloway.
Yeah, he's cool
And
too.
I'm like crossing my fingers because there's this whole concept that like somebody that Darrow knows and is close to, that's a Howler, is betraying him in some way. Like
Yeah,
we still don't know who told the council about the ceasefire opportunity. There's still information being leaked. And like my number one worry is it's Calloway. But I because I really like Calloway. I don't
yeah,
think it would be Thraxa. I don't think it would be Rona. I don't think it'd be Alexander.
Sever.
That would be insane.
What it?
Several was like, actually, this whole thing has been really annoying.
Dude,
So
this shit's been fucking weird.
Atlantia, Gil, and also like kidnap my daughter. She can take it.
She's tough.
So they're able to save him from the Fear Knight. It's ambiguous whether or not the Fear Knight dies or not. I'm assuming he doesn't. I hope he's a bigger character.
Yes.
They take Helopolis, but they don't kill Ajax. He gets away. And Darrow has a heart attack,
Yeah. From just
which
taking a
was,
fuck ton of stems.
yeah, he took like stems. He got cut like 50 times, like injured all over the place. He literally can't walk. So they
Oh,
like
well,
lay
day.
him down. They lay him down. They're like, okay, just take a nap.
Please, you're fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. And that's pretty much where the first part ends. Like that's pretty much where I am. So we're gonna get some Mustang and Ephraim POV next week. And I gotta say,
Man,
like,
the Mustang POVs are fucking sick.
I gotta say that like this has been one of the best like war novels that I've read from this section. Incredibly dark, incredibly fucked up, lots of character death. I'm
Yeah, there's
waiting.
like true like realism with like characters dying, like just fucking like random stray bullets and stuff like that. It's like, damn, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you even have like animals in the wilderness that are fucking dangerous as shit.
Yep. And you've got animals dying from nuclear
Yep.
fallout and flies, and like it just talks very gruesomely about how terrible shit is. Um, how fucked up. Like this is probably the most bloody war in history to this date in this scenario. You're talking like the Battle of Mercury, like millions and millions of people are dying in hours.
Yeah.
Um, so it's interesting to see. But we still have Verona, we have Thraxa, you do have Screwface back now, and Darrow, all in this group. No one knows where the fuck Lysander is, if he's alive. I'm assuming Lysander lives. That would be absolutely insane if Lysander just kind of dies off screen.
That would be.
And you've got the Love Knight who knows if she's alive with Lysander. He's got like a whole group of people who are supposed to like be allied with him who have now just been slaughtered. Who knows if he's alive? And
Yep.
then you've got Alexander, who I hope is alive, just kind of disappeared into Taiki. And Ajax and um, Atlantia are still alive as well. So, and we still have yet to see how Diomedes is going to react to his sister's death and the absolute insanity that's going on there.
Yep. And you also still have Ephraim and Lyra as well.
Yep. Yeah. Ephraim,
They
last we
haven't got their
saw him,
POVs yet.
he's crashed into Luna with the kids. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. I Both of those storylines are both really good. Honestly, like all the storylines are really good. Like this book is fucking phenomenal. I actually gave it 5 stars. This is a
How
10 out of 10.
how are you like I know you've already read the next one. Like, does it remain as good?
This book gets better.
The next one's
Or,
better?
oh, you mean the book Lightbringer? Ooh, Lightbringer is real close. There's a lot of shit happened in the Lightbringer too. They're just like, God damn.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
Like Red God. I don't know how he's going to finish the books or the series, but damn, I am excited for it.
All right, I like to hear it.
Cool. Well, guys, that'll be it for Dark Age then for part one. We'll see how far Gavin gets next week, if he finishes or not. It's a pretty thick book, so
Might
I
be a
would be
three-parter.
surprised. Yeah. As always, hit us up on Discord. Find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Email us at heresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. Check out our merch. Get yourself something nice for St. Patty's Day. And that's it, guys. Have a good one.